A good tool should do three things for your business: increase your productivity, give you higher quality, and make the job safer. And that's what we do at Dearman International. We bring fit-up technology up to welding technology. We are setting the standards in the industry because we are the first to develop precision fitting tools, pipe clamps that will handle over 100 different types of fit-ups per clamp. Our clamps outperform conventional clamps 100 to 1. And there are multiple paybacks when you use Dearman clamps. Quick payback on your investment, increased productivity, higher quality work, and a safer working environment. Dearman tools are recognized as the most advanced made, giving an extra measure, doing more, providing more tool for your dollar. Because of this, we are setting competitive standards around the world. And today, your competition isn't just the guy down the street. It's worldwide. Dearman makes an extensive line of pipe fitting tools, including measuring devices, in-plant fabrication equipment, special mechanical and hydraulic tools used to fit large vessels for welding, the rim clamp with the muscle needed for reforming heavy pipe, and which allows a 100% weld and grind without removing the clamp. Let's look at this Dearman clamp and see how it performs. This single chain clamp is so versatile that it can replace all of these old-fashioned tools. Because of the flexible chain design, one clamp can be used for several different sizes of pipe. To see the advantages of the Dearman system, let's look at the old way of making fit-ups. Lugs were welded to the pipe, and a big man with a big hammer used wedges to shape and space the pipe. Then, when the weld was finished, the lugs were knocked off by the man with the hammer. This means scarring of the pipe, grinding, possible metal damage, and poses a safety hazard. The use of old-style clamps improved things a bit. There were no lugs to weld, break off, and clean up, but still, to reform metal, you beat and wedged it into shape. And old-style clamps would go out of shape and stay deformed, bringing that deformity to the next fit-up. With the Dearman system, this is no longer true. Metal can be reformed in a non-destructive way. Controllable, fine adjustments are made with screws instead of sledgehammers. But this is just one advantage. Because of its versatility, a single Dearman clamp can be used to make over 100 different types of fit-ups. Let's take a look at some of the other advantages. Because of its unique design, it takes only 3 Dearman clamps to handle virtually any size and shape of pipe. The small clamp handles pipe from 2 inches to 12 inches in diameter. The medium size fits from 4 to 16 inches, and the large from 10 to 36 inches, and can be expanded up to 20 feet by adding chain and jack bars. We'll use the medium-sized clamp to demonstrate how the Dearman system can increase productivity, assure higher quality of your product, and make the job of fitting and welding much safer. The clamp is placed around the pipe body and adjusted to the correct size. Then the other pipe is placed in position and held by the clamp. Because the pipes are locked in position, there are no potential injuries from dropped sections. And there is higher quality since there is no stress or scarring from welded-on lugs. Jack screws are then used to remove the high-lows. Since the sledgehammer is no longer needed, there is a great improvement in the safety of this operation. This method provides and holds a virtually perfect alignment. Conically tapered spacing screws are put into position and turned to adjust to the proper uniform welding gap. This is both easy and gives a high-quality fit-up, which makes a high-quality weld possible. The first Dearman chain clamp was designed and built in 1970. In keeping with our policy of steady engineering improvements, other models have been designed and marketed. Featured advances have included the single jack screw, the double jack screw, and the Heliarc Special. Our new clamp functionally replaces all three earlier models. Today's clamp has features such as jack bars, which allow welding underneath them, and which can be adjusted to either side of the welding seam to apply pressure. They can also be moved out of the way for grinding and rewelding. Pressure is applied to the metal through stainless steel swivel pads on each screw, a standard Dearman feature. Certain models are designed to meet nuclear power plant specifications. Quick release pins in the chain body allow quick, simple installation or removal of jack bars and let chain be added or removed to change the clamp's size capacity. Other design additions include jack bars which can be added, removed, or replaced without removing the clamp. The rim clamp is used for really heavy fit-ups. This is the only clamp of its kind. Our thread design and plating resist welding spatter. The jack bars can be unpinned and folded back to allow a full 360-degree exposure for final weld and grind. It gives you the same advantage of an inside clamp, plus the extra muscle needed to reform thick metal. Should the jack screws get damaged, special head design allows removal by backing out or screwing straight through. The range of Dearman rim clamps fits pipe from 4 inches to 20 feet in diameter. For fitting up large vessels with ease and safety, the Vessel Master expanding clamp aligns from inside, offering no restriction to the welder. Its hydraulic system can apply an expansion force of 236 tons to hold and form the metal. It also allows a free 360-degree rotation of the vessel sections. To support its line of advanced technology clamps, Dearman also manufactures a line of in-plant fabrication tools, including fit-up tables, accessories, and jacks. To assure quality and maintain high productivity, Dearman also produces a family of measuring instruments specifically designed to meet your fit-up needs, such as gauges, squares, and levelers. The Dearman line of pipe fitting tools and clamps is the new advanced technology for making fit-ups. Its versatility allows it to be used on any kind of pipe, including pipe with a square cross-section. Its utility allows it to replace all the old-style clamps and tools needed for fit-ups. This middle-range Dearman clamp replaces 7 old-type clamps. Others replace even more clamps. And it's easy to pack and carry. And there's another major advantage. While Dearman clamps produce alignments to within 1/1000th of an inch, it itself does not require close tolerances to manufacture. This particular Dearman clamp has been in service for over 10 years and has more years ahead of it. It applies concentrated pinpoint pressure and does not have to withstand the blow of a sledgehammer. These chain clamps, powerful, easy-to-use rim clamps, high-technology Vessel Master alignment systems, fabrication shop tools, and accurate, efficient measuring instruments, plus continuing attention on product improvement, means a support system for you, tailored to your requirements where you need it, in the field, on the job. The expanding family of fit-up tools, standard and custom clamps, outperforms conventional clamps 100 to 1, providing multiple paybacks, quick return of investment, increased productivity, the highest quality product, and a safer working environment. Dearman gives you the tools you need to be competitive in today's tough international marketplace. wherever pipe comes together.
This film is to help you use a new tool for your profession, the Dearman chain-type pipe welding clamp. It's the latest technology designed to make your job easier, safer, and allow the highest quality workmanship. These days, the competition for jobs is not just from down the street, but worldwide. This tool will help keep the jobs where they belong, at home. In using the clamp, proper placement of the hands makes it easier to install. Place it around the pipe with the main block at the top. Place the crank assembly in the notches on the main block, then place the retainer pin over the chain in the main block. Grasp the end of the chain with one hand and pull the chain snugly around the pipe. Place the jack bars on each bottom quarter while holding in place with the thumb screws. The jack bars should extend approximately 1 inch beyond the end of the pipe. Take up the remaining slack in the chain by turning the fine adjustment crank clockwise. The clamp is now ready to accept any pipe or fitting of the same size. The jack bars are moved into place and the lower jack screws used to support the second section of pipe. The jack screws can be moved to position them on either side of the seam. Then use the jack screws to take out the high-lows. The QC high-low gauge is used to determine the exact measurement of the highs. The conical spacing screws are then turned to adjust to the proper welding gap. This gap is determined precisely using the Dearman QC gauge. The pipe is now ready for welding. If you want to align a flange, first bolt the leveling and supporting device to the flange. Hand tighten the nut. Place the flange on the 2 lower jack bar screws of the Dearman chain clamp. Place the chain of the leveling and supporting device into the hook on the main block of the clamp. Turn the fine adjustment crank of the leveling and supporting device until the flange is faced up, touching the pipe all around or in at least 3 places. A Dearman 2-hole leveler can be used to determine that the flange is level. Compress the spring-loaded arms of the leveler and insert them into the holes on the bottom of the flange. Be sure that both pins are all the way in the holes. Rotate the fitting until the bubble indicates that it's level. The leveler is removed by holding down on the springs. The Dearman combination pipe fitter square is used to check the flange alignment. The flange is squared top to bottom by tightening or loosening the fine adjustment crank on the leveling and supporting device. This device can also be used to fit up elbows using a built-in clamp to hold the leveling and supporting device to the fitting. It is then adjusted in the same way as the flange. A level is used to check the 2 axes of the elbow. As in all cases, the spacing screws are used to provide the proper welding gap, and the jack screws used on the high spots to eliminate high-lows. This clamp can be used on many fittings, including the 45-degree elbow and T-fittings. The Dearman system features a great versatility. Accessories make it possible to use the same clamp to do horizontal T-fittings. Other special equipment includes ProFit jack bars, which can be attached to the ProFit chain clamp while on the miter fit-up. Each Dearman chain clamp will allow you to perform over 100 kinds of fit-ups. Only 3 basic clamps will fit pipe of from 4 inches to 20 feet. Special holding equipment includes this head fit-up tool and heavy-duty double chain clamps. Quick-release pins allow the chain to be taken apart and put together to put on or take off jack bars and to add and subtract links to change the size of the clamp body. The flexibility of this chain allows it to fit all cross-sections, including square pipe. Use of the Dearman chain-type pipe welding clamp can add to your skills and help make your job easier, safer, and let you do higher quality work, all factors in making you and your company more competitive in the tough worldwide market and helping keep your job at home. This film is to help you use a new tool for your profession, the Dearman rim clamp. It is the latest in technology designed to make your job easier. It will also make your job safer and allow high-quality workmanship. These days, the competition for jobs is not just from down the street, but worldwide. This tool will help keep the jobs where they belong, at home. The Dearman rim-type reforming clamp holds straight pipe and pipe fittings for welding. The clamp can also reform one section of pipe to match another or to match a fitting. This is how the clamp is used. Before the clamp is lowered onto the pipe, all jack screws are backed off except the two located nearest the top quarter of the clamp. These two jack screws help center the clamp. Now lower the clamp onto the pipe. As the clamp is lowered, it closes around the pipe and the bottom hook latches automatically. The four front jack bars are used to hold and position the second piece of pipe. Position the reforming clamp on the pipe so that the front jack bars extend approximately 2 inches beyond the end of the pipe. These jack bars will help support the second piece of pipe while it's being welded. Center the clamp by adjusting one jack screw in each quarter. Adjust the screws in the 4 rear stabilizing bars to help stabilize and square the clamp on the pipe. The 2 front bottom jack bar screws are adjusted so that both pieces of pipe will be approximately aligned. Use the jack screws on the clamp to shape that piece of pipe to the identical shape of the mating piece, leaving no high-low condition. This is done by using 2 or 3 screws in the high spots. 2 or 3 screws are used to make sure that all the pressure is not on one screw. Before trying to remove all the high, be sure to back off all screws where the high does not exist. You may have to release and readjust jack screws on the high spots more than one time to give the metal a chance to level out. The welding gap is made using spacing wedges. This gap is checked for accuracy with the Dearman QC gauge. The Dearman QC gauge can be used to measure high-lows. If you prefer, you can weld a complete bead before you move the jack bars for grinding. Loosen the top and bottom jack bar screws and remove pins. Fold the jack bars back and pin. The entire weld is now exposed for completion and grinding without removing the reforming clamp. This eliminates any chance of fracture due to clamp release stress on an incomplete bead. No other external clamp will allow you to accomplish this. Reducing starts and stops greatly increases the quality of the weld. The weld should now be made to specification before removing the clamp from the pipe. If the clamp is removed before proper welding and grinding is complete, the weld could crack, requiring repair or a complete cutout. To remove the clamp, back off all jack screws except the ones in each upper quarter of the clamp. Unlatch the bottom locking hook by pulling the chain attached to that hook. The clamp is now ready to be moved to the next fit-up. The Dearman rim clamp can also be used in the horizontal position. Use of the Dearman rim-type reforming clamp can help make your job easier, safer, and let you do higher quality work. All factors in making you and your company more competitive in the tough worldwide market and helping to keep your job at home.
There's a big demand for top-notch welders and pipe fitters today, and there's a lot of pressure on all of us to meet the demands of every American industry for high-quality pipe fitting and welding. We're going to show you how to get out from under that pressure to meet the demand for your services. It's a new concept, a new method of getting quick, easy, and safe fit-ups for a reliable weld. Let's go back in time for a minute. Forge welding, heating metals, then pounding them together, has been around from man's earliest history. But modern welding techniques are comparatively new. It was just a few decades ago that we developed the acetylene torch, and then processes such as tungsten arc welding and other methods that reached the advanced edge of American technology. But something was still missing. Methods of fitting up pipe to get a good weld stayed back in the Dark Ages, until just a short time ago. Then came the long-awaited breakthrough, a tool to modernize and standardize fit-ups. It's based on a new concept, developed by a man who had been a welder and a pipe fitter for about 25 years. One day, just a few years ago, Tim Dearman really got aggravated. He was tired of welding lugs on pipe for alignment, tearing it off again, cleaning up the spot, and probably patching the pipe, in some cases having to acid test the spot on the pipe. Then, after all that time and trouble, having an inspector tell him it wasn't a proper fit-up. Cut it out, do it over. So for years, working nights and weekends and rainy days, he worked to perfect his new concept, his better way of getting quick, easy, good fit-ups. Finally, he had it right. The concept was now the working tool, the Dearman pipe welding clamp, along with a few simple tools to be used with the main clamp. First, there's a hold-down clamp, a portable vise to wrap around your pipe and hold the pipe in place while you work on it. After tightening on the hold-down clamp, you attach the Dearman pipe welding clamp to the main pipe. This one is a 1 to 8 clamp for pipe sizes 1 to 8 inches. Then you pick up the third basic tool, a level and support device, a very simple attachment you put onto the fitting or piece of pipe you're going to fit up. Lay the fitting on the bottom of the pipe welding clamp, hook the chain of the level and support device onto the clamp, tighten up on the crank of the level and support device until the two faces of pipe and fitting are matched together. Take out your high-low with jack screws. Make your gap with spacing screws and level by just taking up or letting out on the fine adjustment of the level and support device. Before you realize it, your fitting is ready to be tacked up. It takes no strain at all to do it. A fit-up concept that really gets you out from under all that pressure. Tim Dearman got rid of all the aggravation and frustration of the old pipe fitting methods. You can, too, by using his new concept. Dearman pipe welding clamps meet most of your pipe size requirements, up to 54-inch pipe and larger. The Dearman clamp has been made for vessels 20 feet in diameter. Let's look at some fit-ups in more detail. This is the Dearman 4 to 16-inch pipe welding clamp. Lay the fine adjustment crank inside the block of the clamp and put the pin through. Pull your slack up and then tighten up on the fine adjustment crank. When it's tight, you're ready to get your fitting. This one's a 90 going down. We'll use both the level and support device and the hold-down clamp around the top of the 90, across the level and support device, and bring the chain around and hook it into the hold-down clamp, and then tighten up. Once your chain is tight, you're ready to go ahead and place the 90 into the main clamp and fit it up. Grab one end of the chain of the level and support device between your thumb and one hand so that you can use both hands to lift the fitting. Lay the bottom of the fitting into the clamp Bring it up and hook the chain of the level and support device into the block. Tighten up on the crank of the level and support device until the faces of the two pieces are matched together. Then you're ready to remove the high-low by adjusting the jack screws. After removing the high-low, set your gap by adjusting the spacing screws on top and bottom. Then level the fitting, crossways by just rolling the fitting around in the clamp, lengthways by letting in or out on the fitting by adjusting the level and support device. You can get that bubble right on the line with no strain at all. It's real easy to do, and the fit-up is ready to be tacked. In putting a T onto the pipe, the first step again is to attach the level and support device to the T. Then put the T in the bottom of the clamp and bring the chain of the level and support device over and hook it into the block of the clamp. Crank in on the handle of the level and support device until you have the faces of the two pieces matched together. For a T with a bullhead, with the ends going up and down, again put the level and support device on the fitting. Lay it in the clamp and hook your level and support device onto the clamp. To put a T on a bullhead crossways, again we'll use the hold-down clamp across the top of the T and over the level and support device and through the T. And tighten it down. Again, no sweat. To put a flange onto the pipe is also very simple. Get your level and support device, attach it to the flange with a bolt going through a hole in the flange, and tighten the nut on it hand tight. Place the flange into the bottom of the clamp. Take the chain of the level and support device and hook it onto the block of the clamp. Now we can remove the high-low by adjusting the jack screws, tightening only those screws where the high exists, leaving plenty of room for the lows to level up. Once your high-low is removed, you can set your gap by spacing screws at all 4 points. Once your gap is set and you want a level on a 2-hole flange, you can place the Dearman 2-hole level in the flange and roll the flange until it's level. It's got a spring for each pin. Press the springs in, push the pins into the holes, bump each pin to make sure it's wedged all the way in. This centers the pins in the holes. When removing the level, be sure to hold down on the springs to prevent their slipping back on your thumbs. To square the flange, simply place the combination square on the top of the pipe and come down the face of the flange and move it whatever direction is needed to square it up, top and bottom. Tack the bottom. Then check it with the square again. Move it in any needed direction. Then tack the top. As you can see, no one has to hold the flange while the welder is tacking, thus eliminating possible arc burns, shock, or slippage of the fitting causing a reject fit-up. After it's tacked top and bottom, square it sideways. Once the flange has been tacked at 4 points, you can come back again and check it and make sure it's still square. If everything's all right, go ahead and take the clamp off by removing the level and support device from the fitting. And removing the clamp from the pipe. To illustrate the use of the Dearman combination square, you can reverse the blades to the opposite direction of the flange. You can check a riser coming out on a 90.
Or you can check a pipe coming out from the side on a 90. Not only can it do a 90 in a flange, it'll also do a 45. You can come out on a 45, or you can come out again on the side for a 45. This is a Dearman protractor, a degree finder that'll fit any degree that you'll have, like this 30 degree or any other degree. By removing the legs, you can also lay out on a flat surface. The clamp you see here is the Dearman 4 to 16-inch double jack screw clamp, working on a 12-inch pipe. To adjust the jack bars around, simply loosen the thumb screws, slide the bars around, and tighten it back up. Once you have the bars where you want them, take the rest of the slack out of your chain by simply tightening up with the crank. To fit up a short piece of pipe like this, you can use the level and support device. Attach it to the piece of pipe, hook the chain of the level and support device into the block of the clamp, and adjust your level and support device till the faces are matched together. Once again, you remove the high-low by adjusting the jack screws, tightening only those over the high spot. A double jack screw clamp lets you apply pressure on either piece. You may have to go back and adjust the level and support device again. To add jack bars to the Dearman pipe welding clamp is very simple. Simply remove the chain stop, remove the chain out of the block, and then add jack bars to it. Then thread the chain right back through the block, put the chain stop back on it, and you've got another jack bar. And you can take jack bars off in a like manner. Now, here's one of our larger clamps, a heavy-duty double chain reforming clamp. This one's for 10 to 36-inch pipe. Place the block on top of the pipe, bring the fine adjustment crank over and put it in the block. Put the pins over the chain, and then pull the slack out of the chain until it stops. And then put the safety pin in the hole over the chain dogs. You can adjust the jack bars around this one like the other Dearman clamps to any position you want, giving you the ability to easily remove the high-lows. Other sizes of this clamp have been made for up to 20-foot diameter vessel work. Once you have the jack bars where you want them, simply take up on the fine adjustment handle and crank in and tighten up the chain. Here you see the chain tightening up and the slack coming out. Once you have both chains tight, you're ready to go ahead and do the fit-up. Attach your level and support device to the fitting, in this case a 45, and bring it in with your lifting equipment. Set it into the clamp. Hook the chain of the level and support device onto the clamp, and then release your lifting equipment. This avoids having to tie up your lifting equipment for a long period of time, and of course it's easier to control the fitting, once you have it like this, by simply cranking in on the level and support device. And you can really fine fit it. Now you have a high-low. You need to adjust the jack screws to take the high-low out. Bear in mind, in removing the high-low, you only tighten the screws where the high exists. This allows the low spots to level up. Simply adjust the bottom screws right here. The high-low will come up. Adjust this other jack screw on the top, and look how easily the high-low is being removed. Once you remove the high-low by eye, you may want to check it with a Dearman high-low gauge. Put the gauge in between the two pieces of pipe and check the high-low. In this case, you can see how, just by turning a jack screw, the high-low can be eliminated. Also on the Dearman high-low gauge, there is a spacing gauge that can check the desired gap. Here's a fit-up where we're going in between the chains. Also on the Dearman heavy-duty reforming clamp. This clamp does not have a spacing tool on it, so we use a spacing wedge to get our required gap. The clamp we're showing you here is the Dearman 10 to 36 inch regular. We had it all the way out to 36 inch. We can tighten right on up there to 24 inch. For added advantage when working with light wall pipe, you'll want to consider the next clamp. The 10 to 36 inch Dearman pipe welding clamp that we call a double jack screw, because there are 2 jack screws on the end of each jack bar. The double jack screws enable you to apply pressure on either side of the weld, whether it's a pipe to pipe or a pipe to fitting. Here's a different type of clamp, a Dearman rim type. It also comes in various sizes. This one is a 24 to 26 inch clamp with real reforming muscle. With this type of rim clamp, you have the room to get a 100% circumference weld and a 100% grinding without removing the clamp. Simply lift it with the chain as shown. Let it down, it'll latch automatically, and you're ready to start getting it ready for fit-up. There are jack screws all around the ring. Set the jack bars on top in a back position, enabling you to bring in the fitting. Tighten up the 4 screws in each quarter of the ring that are next to the jack bars, approximately centering the ring up. There are also 4 screws in the back jack bar, so next tighten them up. In this case, we'll be putting in a 24-inch, 45-degree fitting. Could be another pipe. Attach your level and support device to the fitting. Bring it into the clamp with your lifting equipment. Set it down on the bottom 2 jack bars. And then hook the chain of the level and support device into the ring of the clamp. Once you have it securely hooked into the ring of the clamp, you can release your lifting equipment for other work. Again, this is much easier than trying to adjust it with the lifting equipment. This fine adjustment of the level and support device can bring it in just wherever you want it. You've got 4 jack bars that you can bring down to grab hold of the fitting. Place the pins back into the holes. Use your jack bars to center your fitting with the other pipe. After centering, you're ready to remove the high-low. Simply tighten up on the jack screws located close together to give you a choice of where to apply power. You may not have to use all of them. In this case, there's a lot of high-low on top. The pipe is a little more egg-shaped than the fitting. We'll make the pipe match up to fit the 45-degree fitting by tightening down on the screws. Remember, only where there's a high on the pipe side. As we tighten down these screws, you can watch the high-low move right on down. Then you'll tack enough in 4 places to keep the pipe from moving. Then lift the jack bars up out of the way and pin them back. And you're ready for a 100% circumference weld and grinding. When that's done, to release the clamp, loosen all your jack screws. Pull the chain in the back of the clamp, releasing the latch. Pick it up with your support equipment and take it to your next fit-up. Dearman Manufacturing is constantly researching and testing new ways to provide up-to-date tools for pipe fitters and welders in the field. The men of the engineering and manufacturing department are constantly trying to improve the quality and service of Dearman products. To help you, like the top-notch pro in any field, use your head, not your back, to help you get out from under the strains and pressures. As they say in those beer ads, you only go around once, so why not use the best tools and really enjoy your work?